Hello and welcome to the Jungle Scroll.
Today, we're telling the story of a company that changed the world. Imagine a force so big it can change a country's economy. It has more employees than many countries have people. Its delivery network is as powerful as some militaries. This giant serves 250 million people every week. This is not a country. It's a company named Walmart.
In 2024, Walmart made an incredible $648 billion in revenue. For 11 years straight, it has been number one on the Fortune Global 500 list. By revenue, it is the largest company on earth. It has about 2.1 million employees, which it calls associates. Every week, across 19 countries, more than 10,500 stores serve about 255 million customers. This is a story about numbers that are hard to imagine.
But behind these big numbers is a more human story. It's the story of how one small store in a quiet Arkansas town grew into a global giant. This giant now tells its suppliers what to do and shapes the economies of nations. It has completely changed how the world shops.
It's the story of one man, Sam Walton. He had a friendly, country style that hid a very competitive and revolutionary mind. He built his empire on a very simple promise: everyday low prices.
But this series will ask a more complex question, first asked in a famous documentary. Is Walmart good for America? As we look at the amazing innovations and the search for efficiency, we also have to face the consequences. What is the real cost of those everyday low prices? Who pays for it? And how did the mission to save $1 for the American consumer change the world forever? This is the Walmart effect, an empire made in America.
The Walmart story starts not in an office, but during the hardship of the American Great Depression. To understand the philosophy behind the world's largest company, you have to understand the world that shaped its founder, Samuel Moore Walton.
Sam Walton was born in Kingfisher, Oklahoma, on March 29, 1918. He grew up with very little. His family moved often in Missouri as his father, Thomas Walton, went from farming to a sadder business. His father worked for his brother's mortgage company, which was an agent for Metropolitan Life Insurance. His job was to foreclose on family farms during the worst of the Depression. For young Sam, this was a clear and unforgettable lesson about financial problems. He saw up close what happens when the money is gone.
From a very young age, work was a necessity, not a choice. Like many kids of that time, he had to help his family survive financially. His life as an entrepreneur started with simple jobs. He milked the family cow, bottled the extra milk, and sold it to customers. He delivered the Columbia Daily Tribune newspaper. He also sold magazine subscriptions. This wasn't to earn money for candy, it was to help buy food.
This experience gave him a core belief he kept his whole life. He believed it was important to be a giver, a contributor, not a taker. He later said that he learned the deep value of $1. This lesson became the foundation of his entire business philosophy.
Even though his family struggled, Walton was very ambitious. He wasn't just a hard worker, he was a natural leader and competitor. In Shelbina, Missouri, he became the youngest Eagle Scout in the state's history while in 8th grade. At Hickman High School, he was the quarterback for the football team. His classmates voted him most versatile boy when he graduated in 1936. His charm was already obvious.
To find a better way to support his family, Walton went to the University of Missouri. He was an ROTC cadet and worked odd jobs, like waiting tables for meals. He was very popular and a member of many prestigious student groups. He even served as president of a large Bible class. When he graduated in 1940 with a degree in economics, his class voted him permanent president.
Walton's focus on saving money, his drive, and his focus on value were not just business tactics. They were created during the difficult times of the 1930s. His obsession with cutting every last cent of cost to pass savings to the customer wasn't just a clever strategy. It was a deep belief, a survival skill learned when every penny was important. Understanding this is the key to the whole Walmart story. Everyday low prices wasn't just a slogan. It was a philosophy born from hardship. It was a belief that the customer's dollar was the most important thing for everyone's security.
3 days after graduating from college, Sam Walton started his career in retail. He got a job as a management trainee at a J.C. Penney store in Des Moines, Iowa. His salary was $75 a month. He was a great salesman and very enthusiastic, but he wasn't always careful with paperwork. He hated making customers wait while he dealt with sales slips, so his records were often messy. This early focus on the customer over paperwork showed what kind of leader he would become.
His time at J.C. Penney was stopped by the start of World War II. In 1942, he resigned and worked for a short time at a DuPont munitions plant. He then joined the U.S. Army Intelligence Corps and became a captain. He supervised security at aircraft plants and prisoner of war camps. It was during his time in the military that he decided on his future. He realized he wanted to have his own business.
In 1945, at age 26, Captain Sam Walton returned to civilian life. He was married and had a family to support. He was ready to be his own boss. He used $5,000 of his own savings and a very important $20,000 loan from his father-in-law, Ellis Robson. Robson was a successful banker and an early mentor. With this money, Walton bought a Ben Franklin variety store franchise in Newport, Arkansas.
He later admitted he had no experience running a variety store or any business at all. He was an entrepreneur learning as he went, and he made mistakes. He later found out the store he bought was a real dog, meaning it had always performed poorly. And in his excitement, he agreed to a lease that charged him 5% of his sales in rent. He later discovered this rate was extremely high for the industry.
But this difficult situation became Walton's place for innovation. He went to the franchisee training program and learned all the rules of the Ben Franklin system. Then he almost immediately started to break them. He disliked the tight controls of the franchise. The Ben Franklin model said he had to buy at least 80% of his products from their main warehouse. But Walton was always looking for a bargain. He started driving to Tennessee to buy goods from other, cheaper suppliers. This was his first big move against the usual way of doing things.
But the truly brilliant part was what he did next. Instead of keeping the extra profit he made from buying cheaper goods, he passed the savings to his customers. He sold his products at a big discount. He believed he could make more money by selling a lot of items, not by making a high profit on each item. This was the beginning of the strategy that would one day take over the world.
He experimented all the time. He put a popcorn machine on the sidewalk, which attracted a lot of people. He put a soft-serve ice cream machine inside, another new idea that brought in customers. He kept his store open later than anyone else, especially around Christmas. He made sure his shelves were always full of a wide variety of exciting products.
The results were amazing. In just 5 years, Walton turned the Newport dog from a store making $72,000 a year to a success, making $250,000 a year. His profits were between $30,000 and $40,000. His store became the #1 Ben Franklin store in a 6-state area. He wasn't just following the Ben Franklin rules, he was rewriting them. He was testing the whole variety store model and finding its limits. His success came from treating the rules as just suggestions. This rebellious attitude would define his whole career. He had found his formula.
In the summer of 1950, when his success in Newport was at its peak, Sam Walton's world fell apart. He had turned a failing store into the best in the franchise. He had become a leader in the town. But he was about to learn the hardest lesson of his business life. The problem was a huge mistake. The lease he had signed 5 years before, the one with the high rent, had another fatal problem. It did not have a renewal clause. It was a rookie mistake that his experienced father-in-law was reportedly shocked to find.
The store's landlord, P.K. Holmes, came from a retail family. He had watched Walton's amazing success with both admiration and envy. He saw the crowds of customers and the energy of the business Walton built. And he wanted it. Not for himself, but for his son. Holmes refused to renew Walton's lease. There was no negotiation. He simply refused, at any price. He then bought the store's inventory and fixtures from a powerless Walton for $50,000. Walton admitted the price was fair, but the landlord handed the entire successful business over to his son.
For Walton, the loss was deep and personal. He later called it the low point of my life. He felt sick, unable to believe what was happening. He was angry at the landlord for being so ruthless and at himself for the huge mistake on the lease. He had done everything right, worked hard, innovated, served his customers, and yet he had lost everything because of one mistake in a contract. He was completely powerless.
This moment, this Newport betrayal, was more than just a business problem. It was a deep trauma. It created in Sam Walton a lifelong obsession with controlling his own destiny. He felt what it was like to be powerless, to have his success and his family's future taken away. He would spend the rest of his life making sure he would never have to feel that way again.
Every major decision that would define the Walmart empire can be seen as a direct response to the trauma of Newport. Each move was designed to remove any outside dependency. The problem was a landlord who controlled his lease. The solution for his very next store was to demand a 99-year lease. The problem was a franchise that controlled his supply and prices. The solution was to eventually build his own private distribution system, cutting out the middleman. The problem was relying on phone companies. The solution was to build the world's largest private satellite system. The problem was suppliers who controlled costs. The solution was to grow so big that he could control their prices. The problem later would be labor unions. The solution was one of the most effective union avoidance strategies ever.
Forced out of Newport, Sam Walton had to start over. He, his wife Helen, and his father-in-law started looking for a new town. They chose Bentonville, a small town in northwest Arkansas. Helen wanted to live in a small town. And Sam, who loved hunting, liked that Bentonville was near 4 different states, offering different hunting seasons.
He found a good location on the Bentonville town square. But to make the store work, he needed to expand into the shop next door. The owner of that shop repeatedly refused to sell the lease. After 6 failed tries, a frustrated Walton was ready to leave Bentonville. It was at this moment that his father-in-law, Ellis Robson, stepped in. Showing the great family trust and support Walton had, Robson went to see the shop owner one last time. Without Sam's knowledge, he made the owner an offer he couldn't refuse, $20,000 to get the lease. The deal was done.
In the summer of 1950, Walton opened his new store. He didn't call it a Ben Franklin. He put his own name on the sign, Walton's 5 and Dime. And this time, remembering his Newport experience, he made sure the lease was for 99 years. There were 2 other variety stores in town, but Walton immediately stood out with the one thing he knew worked: consistently lower prices.
He also brought new ideas to the small-town variety store. At 4,000 square feet, his store was very large for a town like Bentonville. More importantly, he used a self-service idea, with all cash registers at the front of the store. This modern, efficient layout was a real innovation at the time. It made shopping easier and reduced labor costs.
The Bentonville store was a success, and it became the new base for his growing business. With one store in Bentonville and another in nearby Fayetteville, Walton had to learn to give others responsibility. Working with his younger brother, James Bud Walton, he began buying more variety stores throughout the 1950s. By 1960, they owned 15 stores.
By all measures, it was a very successful time. In 15 years, Sam Walton had become the largest independent variety store owner in the United States. But for a man with so much energy and ambition, it wasn't enough. He felt the business model had its limits. The sales per store were too small. He later said, after 15 years in 1960, we were only doing $1.4 million in 15 stores. I began looking around for a new idea that would give us a better payoff for all our work. He was ready for the next big risk.
As the 1950s became the 1960s, a new idea was growing in American retail: discounting. The philosophy was simple and tough: buy it low, stack it high, sell it cheap. Sam Walton was immediately interested. He began to study the first discounters, learning everything he could, which became a lifelong habit. He learned about early discounters like and Hope and, most importantly, Soul Price's FedMart in California.
The sales numbers of these new stores were huge compared to variety stores. A single discount store could make up to $2 million a year, more than Walton's entire 15-store chain. He saw the future, and it was big, cheap, and stacked high. Then, in 1962, the big retail companies joined the game. The S.S. Kresge Company opened the first Kmart. the Dayton-Hudson Corporation opened the first Target. These were large, established companies with much more money and experience than a small-town operator from Arkansas. Kmart grew incredibly fast. In just 5 years, it had 250 stores and was making $800 million in sales. Many people thought Sam Walton was crazy to even think about competing with them.
But Walton saw an opportunity that the giants were completely ignoring. The common belief at the time, followed by Kmart and Target, was that big discount stores could only work in big cities with at least 50,000 people. The industry experts and big city executives all agreed. They thought small towns didn't have enough customers to support a large discount store.
Sam Walton, the country boy from Arkansas, knew they were wrong. His whole experience was with stores in small towns. He believed there was a huge, untouched market in rural America. He knew these customers were just as eager for low prices as people in the cities. His competitors thought his idea of offering lower prices in small towns would never work. This different view of the American landscape became Walmart's greatest early advantage. By choosing to go where his competitors would not, Walton wasn't just finding a market no one was serving. He was building his empire on land the competition thought was worthless.
This decision created a strategic protection around his new business. It allowed him to operate under the radar for many years. This gave him the time and space he needed to build his revolutionary business model without competition from the big players. He was choosing to swim upstream, to go the other way, a principle that became one of his business rules. While Kmart and Target fought in the crowded, expensive city markets, Sam Walton was quietly conquering a huge and uncontested kingdom of his own. By the time the giants realized how much business there was in small-town America, it was already too late. The man from Bentonville had them surrounded.
Sam Walton tried to get the executives at Butler Brothers, the owner of the Ben Franklin franchise, to support his discount store idea. They said no. So, at age 44, he decided to take the risk himself. He mortgaged his home and borrowed as much as he could. On July 2, 1962, in Rogers, Arkansas, a town of about 5,700 people, he opened his first discount store. He wanted to call it Walton's Family Center, but the sign maker charged by the letter. To save money, he and his assistant, Bob Bogle, shortened it. Bogle came up with the name that would one day be known everywhere, Walmart. The sign on the building read Walmart Discount City.
The store itself was a modest 16,000 square feet, much smaller than a modern supercenter, but huge for a town like Rogers in 1962. The grand opening was not a fancy event. It was a chaotic country affair. One story says there were donkey rides in the parking lot to attract families. Inside, the summer heat was so bad that a display of watermelons started to burst. It was very different from the sleek, data-driven stores of today.
Yet it was a complete and immediate success. Before the doors even opened, a line of more than 500 people had formed, excited to see the new store. Rural customers who had only read about big city discount stores came from all around. The promise of low prices on a wide variety of goods was very appealing.
The success was quick and proved Walton's whole idea was right. He had shown that a discount store could thrive in small-town America. This first success provided the money for more stores. He opened a second store in Harrison, Arkansas, soon after. By 1967, just 5 years after the chaotic opening in Rogers, the Walton family owned 24 stores across Arkansas, with $12.7 million in sales. In 1968, the company opened stores outside Arkansas for the first time in Missouri and Oklahoma.
The growth was explosive. In 1969, the company officially became Walmart Stores Incorporated. Walton knew he needed more money to keep expanding so fast, so he decided to take the company public. On October 1, 1970, Walmart began selling stock. The first shares were sold at $16.50. The money was used to finance more expansion. That same year, the first distribution center and the official home office opened in Bentonville. By 1972, Walmart was listed on the New York Stock Exchange with the symbol Walmart. The small experiment that began with bursting watermelons and a cheap sign was becoming a Wall Street star.
As the number of stores grew, Sam Walton knew that low prices and smart locations were not enough. To build an empire that could last, he needed to build a culture. He needed a special, unified, and motivated group of employees all working together. What he created was the Walmart way, a special mix of empowering people, folksy traditions, and intense, high expectations.
The core of this culture was a simple but important change in words. Walton refused to call his employees employees. They were associates. He went even further, saying they should be treated as partners in the business. This wasn't just talk. He supported it with what he called the single best thing the company ever did: profit sharing and stock ownership. From early on, he offered associates the chance to buy Walmart stock at a discount. He believed that if you give associates a piece of the company's success, they would treat the business as their own. If the company did well, they did well. This created a powerful sense of shared goals.
This sense of partnership was supported by a commitment to open communication. Walton believed in radical transparency, thinking he should communicate everything you possibly can to your partners. He argued that the more associates knew about the business, sales, profits, challenges, the more they would understand and care. He famously had an open-door policy, being available to anyone in the company. He was known for walking through his stores and distribution centers. He would talk to everyone, especially cashiers and truck drivers, believing they knew what was really happening in the business.
To keep his huge workforce motivated, Walton used unusual methods. He set high goals and encouraged friendly competition between his store managers. He would make crazy bets with his associates to challenge them. The most famous bet was in 1984. He promised that if the company reached a pre-tax profit of 8%, he would do a dance. A 76-year-old Sam Walton, wearing a grass skirt and a lei, did the hula on Wall Street. It was a moment of pure corporate fun, designed to show he kept his word and that the company didn't take itself too seriously. He encouraged his managers to celebrate successes and laugh at failures.
This led to another of Walmart's famous cultural traditions, the company cheer. In 1975, on a trip to a tennis ball factory in South Korea, Walton saw how the workers started their day with a company cheer. He loved the energy it created. He brought the idea back to Arkansas. Soon, every Saturday morning meeting and store opening included a fun, If a little silly, chant, "Give me a W. Give me an A. Give me an L. Give me a squiggly. Give me an MART. What's that spell? Walmart. Who's number one? The customer. Always."
Walton called this whole approach servant leadership. He believed true leaders must serve their people and that the real boss was the customer. "There is only one boss," he famously said. "The customer, and he can fire everybody in the company from the chairman on down, simply by spending his money somewhere else." But this friendly, people-first culture had a very demanding side. Sam Walton was a very hard-driving leader who often started his workday at 4:30 in the morning. He had incredibly high expectations for himself and for everyone who worked for him. He was not afraid to change his management team or strategy quickly if he didn't like the results.
This culture was, in its own way, a competitive weapon. By making every associate a partner in the mission to deliver low prices, Walton created a highly motivated and cost-conscious workforce. In a time of impersonal corporations, this feeling of shared ownership was a key advantage. The goal was to make every single employee a protector of the company's profits. By giving them a financial stake in the company's success, an associate who saved the company $1 was, in a small way, putting money in their own pocket. When this was done by millions of associates over many years, this culture became a massive cost control machine that competitors could not copy.
If the Walmart culture was the company's soul, its logistics and technology were its efficient heart and brain. While competitors focused on selling and marketing, Sam Walton and his team saw retail as a science of distribution and information. The innovations they created in the 1970s and 1980s were revolutionary. They created a competitive advantage that was impossible to beat and changed how goods move around the world.
The first part of this machine was the hub-and-spoke distribution system, a new idea for retail in the early 1970s. The idea was simple. Instead of suppliers shipping goods to individual stores, all goods were sent to huge, strategically located distribution centers, the hubs. From there, Walmart's own fleet of trucks would deliver the goods to a group of stores, the spokes all within a single day's drive.
This system had huge benefits. First, it allowed Walmart to buy directly from manufacturers in huge amounts, cutting out the middlemen its competitors used. This saved the company about 5% in costs, a massive advantage that paid for their everyday low prices. Second, it gave Walmart amazing control and speed. With its own truck fleet, the company could restock its stores in about 2 days, while it took competitors 4 or 5 days. This efficiency also cut its shipping costs to about 3% of sales, while competitors paid around 5%.
Inside these hubs, Walmart perfected a technique called cross-docking. In this system, incoming goods from a supplier's truck were immediately sorted and loaded onto outbound trucks for stores, often without ever being stored in the warehouse. It was a continuous flow of goods, a logistics dance that saved the costs of holding inventory. The second part of the machine was using technology early and aggressively. While competitors used paper and phones, Walmart was building an information network years ahead of its time. By 1983, they began using barcodes at checkout counters. By 1988, 90% of their stores had barcode scanners. This wasn't just for faster checkouts, it was for data. Every scan was information telling the home office what was selling, where, and when.
The ultimate technology that connected the entire empire came in 1987. For $24 million, Walmart launched the largest private satellite communication system in the United States. Called SATCOM. This network linked every store, distribution center, and office back to the headquarters in Bentonville. It provided two-way voice and data and one-way video. The impact was huge and immediate. Credit card authorizations went from taking minutes to just seconds. Store managers could talk instantly with the home office. Most importantly, the satellite network allowed Bentonville to collect sales data from every cash register, every single day. They had achieved almost real-time knowledge of their entire business.
This flow of data led to the ultimate innovation, vendor-managed inventory, or VMI. In the late 1980s, Walmart started a revolutionary partnership with suppliers like Procter & Gamble. Walmart gave P&G direct access to its real-time sales and inventory data. Instead of Walmart placing orders, P&G itself would watch the stock levels of its products, like Tide detergent. When they saw stock was low, they would automatically ship a new order. This close relationship cut down on delays, reduced inventory costs for both companies, and made sure products were almost never out of stock.
This is where Walmart's true genius was. The company's revolution wasn't just about selling things cheap. It was in understanding that information about what was being sold was more valuable than the products themselves. The traditional retail model was a push system. Manufacturers made products and pushed them to retailers. Walmart, with its technology, created a pull system. By knowing exactly what customers were buying, at the moment they bought it, they could pull only the needed products through their super-efficient supply chain. This information advantage was the secret weapon that its competitors never saw coming.
The story of Walmart's rise is connected to the story of Kmart's fall. For many years, Kmart was the king of discount retail. But as Walmart was quietly building its technology and logistics machine in small-town America, Kmart became complacent. Kmart's philosophy was, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Their formula had worked for years, and they saw no reason to change it. They continued to use a cookie-cutter approach, opening the same type of store everywhere, without adapting to change. This was shown by a leadership team that hated technology. While Sam Walton was investing millions in satellites and computers, Kmart's CEO in the 1980s was reportedly proud that he didn't use things like ATMs and email.
This difference in culture led to huge strategic mistakes by Kmart. Their refusal to open stores in towns with fewer than 50,000 people created the open territory where Walmart built its foundation. They failed to invest in their supply chain. While Walmart was perfecting its hub-and-spoke system, Kmart was still using inefficient third-party carriers. This led to major problems with getting products to stores. Kmart's shelves were often empty of popular items, while its backrooms were full of things it couldn't sell. The problem got so bad that the company parked trailers full of inventory behind its stores because it couldn't process them. A Kmart spokesman later admitted, "We have long had problems with our inventory flow."
Kmart completely missed the opportunity in information technology. Without the computerized systems that Walmart had, Kmart often had no idea how much inventory it actually had. They were operating blind, unable to react to sales trends. To make things worse, Kmart's management lost focus. In the 1980s, They bought unrelated businesses like the Bookstore Borders and the Sports Authority. These businesses took away money and attention from their main retail business, which was losing to its rival from Arkansas.
The turning point came in 1991. In that year, Walmart's annual sales reached $32.6 billion, officially passing Kmart's. This made Walmart the nation's #1 retailer. It was a huge shift in American business, a moment from which Kmart would never recover. Sam Walton died a year later in 1992, after seeing his company become the best in the industry he changed. Kmart continued for another decade, its brand known for rundown stores and empty shelves. Finally, in 2002, with too much debt, the once great Kmart filed for bankruptcy.
Walmart did not beat Kmart with one single, brilliant move. It was a victory by 1,000 small advantages. It was Walmart's 2-day restocking versus Kmart's 5. It was Walmart's 3% shipping cost versus Kmart's 5. It was Walmart's data-driven inventory versus Kmart's guesswork. It was Walmart's motivated associates versus Kmart's unengaged employees. Each small inefficiency at Kmart added a tiny cost to every item. Each small efficiency at Walmart saved a tiny amount. Over billions of transactions for 2 decades, this created a price difference that customers could not ignore. Kmart wasn't just beaten by low prices, it was beaten by a superior, more disciplined, and more forward-thinking machine.
By the early 1980s, Walmart had mastered discount retailing in rural areas. But Sam Walton was always looking for new ways to grow. He began to innovate not just inside his stores, but with the type of stores themselves. This time of experimentation led to 2 ideas that would become pillars of the modern Walmart empire: the Warehouse Club and the One-Stop Shopping Supercenter.
The first experiment, Sam's Club, came from Walton's habit of studying his competition. He was fascinated by Sol Price, the man who started the warehouse club industry with his Price Club in 1976. Walton visited one of Price's stores and was so impressed that he admitted he copied his program. The strategy was to serve a new market, small business owners and families who wanted to buy brand-name goods in bulk at very low prices. This format was also aimed at bigger cities, where traditional Walmart stores had not yet gone. On April 7, 1983, the first Sam's Wholesale Club opened in Midwest City, Oklahoma.
The stores were huge, simple warehouses. Products were not displayed nicely. They were stacked high on steel pallets, often in open packing boxes. Customers paid a yearly membership fee to shop there. The model was a huge success and grew quickly, helped by buying other companies. In 1993, Sam's Club bought 99 stores from a failing division of its old rival, Kmart. This single deal made Sam's Club the biggest player in the industry.
Walton's second big experiment was even more ambitious and would be more transformative. In 1987, Walmart worked with a supermarket company to create a new, huge format called Hypermart USA. These were early combination stores with a full grocery store and a discount store under one giant roof. The first one in Garland, Texas, was a massive 213,000 square feet. It had everything: a food court, a bank, a hair salon, and even its own tortilla factory. The stores were so big that some employees used roller skates to get around, but that was quickly stopped when they kept crashing into things. The hypermarts were popular, but they were very complex and expensive to run.
But from this messy experiment came the format that would become the heart of modern Walmart, the supercenter. Learning from the hypermart's good and bad points, Walton's team created a better, more efficient, and fully Walmart-owned version of the one-stop shopping idea. The first official Walmart supercenter opened in Washington, Missouri, in 1988. It combined a full supermarket with all the general products of a standard Walmart, plus services like an auto care shop and an optical center. For customers, the convenience was revolutionary. One early associate said, "It was one-stop shopping that this town had never had. You could buy an outfit and then go get your groceries." This new format became the main driver of Walmart's growth through the 1990s and beyond.
By the early 1990s, Walmart had conquered America. The next step was to conquer the world. The company began an aggressive international expansion, believing its powerful business model would work everywhere. However, they found that the Walmart way was not always welcomed or effective. The story of Walmart's global journey is a story of great successes and humbling failures.
The first international venture was in 1991, in Mexico. Wisely, Walmart chose not to go alone. It partnered with Cifra, Mexico's largest and most respected retailer. This partnership was key, giving Walmart valuable local knowledge. At first, the American model struggled. Most Mexicans at the time preferred to buy fresh food daily from local markets. But by changing its products to match local tastes and using its technology to help Cifra expand, the business thrived. Eventually, Walmart bought Cifra, and today, Walmex is the largest retailer in Mexico and Walmart's most successful foreign venture.
The expansion into the United Kingdom in 1999 was also successful. Walmart bought Asda, a popular British supermarket chain. The key to this success was that Asda's leaders had already been copying Walmart's strategy of low prices and efficiency. It was a perfect cultural fit. Even smarter, Walmart chose to keep the Asda name, using the brand loyalty of UK shoppers instead of forcing the foreign Walmart brand on them. Though Walmart sold most of Asda in 2021, it remains a great example of a successful international purchase.
But for every Mexico and UK, there was a Germany or a South Korea. These attempts were not just failures. They were huge flameouts that showed the danger of assuming the American model would work everywhere. Walmart entered Germany in 1997, and it was a disaster from the start. Its everyday low prices strategy ran into trouble. The German market was already dominated by tough discount chains like Aldi and Lidl. Also, German law prevented stores from selling products below cost all the time, which was one of Walmart's key tactics.
But the biggest problems were cultural. The Walmart way was rejected. German employees, used to strong unions, were uncomfortable with mandatory morning cheers of Walmart. Walmart. They also disliked being forced to smile at strangers, which many customers found fake. A company rule against romantic relationships between employees was seen as an outrageous invasion of privacy. Walmart clashed with German unions and didn't understand that German consumers valued quality as much as, or more than, low prices. After losing money for almost a decade, Walmart gave up and left the German market in 2006.
The story in South Korea was very similar. Walmart entered in 1998 and left in 2006, failing for many of the same reasons. A deep misunderstanding of the local customer. Walmart's large stores outside of cities clashed with the preferences of Korean shoppers, who liked convenient shopping trips in dense urban areas. The product mix was wrong. Walmart focused on its American strengths like dry goods and electronics, while Korean consumers wanted fresh food. Even the store experience was wrong. Walmart's stack it high and sell it cheap approach seemed boring to Korean shoppers, who preferred the neat and clean displays of their local stores.
Walmart eventually learned from these painful lessons. Its recent strategies in the difficult markets of China and India show a smarter and more flexible approach. In China, it has partnered with e-commerce giant JD.com and is focusing on its more high-end Sam's Club format. In India, after being blocked by regulations, Walmart made a brilliant move. In 2018, it spent $16 billion to buy a majority stake in Flipkart, India's largest e-commerce company. This allowed Walmart to bypass the rules and instantly become a major player in one of the world's fastest-growing online markets. The failures in Germany and South Korea taught the American giant a key lesson. When you can't force your model on a foreign market, you must partner with or buy the local one.
On April 5, 1992, Sam Walton passed away from bone cancer. This was just a month after he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President George H.W. Bush. He left behind a company that was the largest and most profitable retailer in the country. He also left one of the world's largest fortunes and a big question. What would happen to the company without its visionary founder?
The answer is a brilliant example of estate and succession planning. Sam Walton had been preparing for this for decades. He had seen other family fortunes destroyed by estate taxes, forcing families to sell company stock and lose control. He was determined not to let that happen to his family. His solution was simple and brilliant. In 1953, he and his wife Helen created a family partnership called Walton Enterprises. They put their assets, including their ownership of the stores, into this partnership. They then systematically gave ownership of the partnership to their 4 children, Rob, John, Jim, and Alice.
This structure had a huge effect. When Sam died, his 10% share went to his wife Helen tax-free. This avoided a massive estate tax bill on a fortune worth over $20 billion at the time. The family did not have to sell any Walmart stock to pay the government. Control was saved. Walton Enterprises is still the main way the Walton family holds its huge wealth and controls the company. Even today, the family owns just under 50% of Walmart stock, making sure they are the ultimate authority.
With the finances secure, the question of leadership remained. The second generation of Waltons did not fight for control. Instead, they took on different roles that fit their personalities, together managing the empire their father built. Rob Walton, the oldest son, provided continuity. Right after his father's death in 1992, Rob became chairman of the board. He held this job for 23 years, overseeing the company's biggest period of global growth.
James Jim Walton, the youngest son, became the family's quiet financial leader. He took over the family's privately owned Arvest Bank and grew it into a major bank. He also managed Walton Enterprises, overseeing the family's huge investments. Alice Walton, the only daughter, followed her passion for art. She became one of the world's most important art collectors. Her greatest achievement is the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art, which she founded in Bentonville. John Walton, a decorated Vietnam veteran, also served on the Walmart board but was tragically killed in a plane crash in 2005.
Under the surface of the friendly, pro-associate culture, there is another, tougher side to the Walmart way. From its early days, the company has fought a sophisticated war against organized labor. Walmart's strong opposition to unions is a core part of its philosophy, inherited directly from Sam Walton. He learned the art of union avoidance from a lawyer named John Tate, who hated unions with a passion.
The company's strategy is proactive and aggressive. Managers are trained to call a special union hotline at the first sign of organizing. This brings a team of experts from corporate headquarters. The official company line is, "We are not anti-union, we are pro-associate." But the real message is clear. Unions are an unnecessary third party. Over the years, the company has been cited for many unfair labor practices, including illegally firing workers who supported unions.
The most powerful example of this anti-union stance came in 2000 in Jacksonville, Texas. For the first time ever, the meat-cutting department at a Walmart supercenter voted to join a union. It was the only time a union had ever won an election in a U.S. Walmart store. The company's response was fast and precise. Just 2 weeks after the vote, Walmart announced it was closing its in-store meat-cutting departments in all 180 of its supercenters. They would now only sell prepackaged meat. The company said the move was for efficiency, but the message to all of its employees was clear and scary. If you organize, your job might disappear.
This same corporate culture came under fire in 2001 with the filing of Dukes v. Walmart Stores Incorporated. It was the largest civil rights class action lawsuit in U.S. history, filed for an estimated 1.5 million female employees. The lead plaintiff, Betty Dukes, claimed that she and many other women had been victims of gender discrimination. She said she was repeatedly denied pay raises and promotions that were given to less qualified men.
The lawsuit argued that Walmart's culture, which gave local managers broad power over pay and promotions, had a discriminatory effect on women. The plaintiffs showed statistical evidence that women at Walmart were paid less than men in every region, even with more seniority and better performance reviews. The data showed that while women were over 2/3 of Walmart's hourly workers, they held less than 1/3 of management jobs. This was combined with stories from over 100 women who were told to doll up or that they should be at home with a family.
The case went through the courts for a decade. Then, in 2011, the U.S. Supreme Court made a 5-4 decision. The court decertified the class, meaning the 1.5 million women could not sue together. The court ruled that the women did not have enough commonality. Because the alleged discrimination was the result of thousands of individual decisions by different local managers, the plaintiffs could not point to a single company-wide policy of discrimination. The huge size of the class, the court said, made it impossible to handle as one lawsuit. The decision was a huge victory for Walmart and for corporate America. It set a much higher bar for large discrimination lawsuits, protecting big companies.
The rise of Walmart did more than just change retail. It changed the economy of the communities it entered and the global supply chains that served it. This profound and controversial legacy is known as the Walmart effect. It describes the economic shockwave felt by a local community when a new Walmart opens. The most visible impact is on local, small businesses. With its huge buying power, Walmart can offer prices that small mom-and-pop stores cannot match. As customers go to the new one-stop shop, traditional main streets lose business and local retailers see their sales drop.
The Walmart effect also puts immense pressure on the thousands of suppliers who want to be on Walmart's shelves. To meet Walmart's demand for lower prices every year, suppliers are forced to cut their own costs. This can lead to innovation, but it also squeezes their profits. For many suppliers, Walmart becomes their only major customer, a dependency that gives the retail giant huge power. One executive at Kraft Foods said this pressure led them to close dozens of plants and lay off thousands of workers to cut costs enough to keep Walmart happy.
Perhaps the biggest consequence of the Walmart effect has been its role in speeding up the globalization of manufacturing. The 2004 PBS documentary, Is Walmart Good for America?, connected Walmart's low prices to the shift of American manufacturing jobs to China. The documentary showed this through the story of Circleville, Ohio. The town's RCA television factory, which had provided good jobs for generations, was shut down. Those jobs and the manufacturing of those TVs moved to Shenzhen, China. There, a Chinese company began making millions of televisions, with almost all of its U.S. exports going to one customer, Walmart.
Walmart became the main channel for Chinese-made goods into the American home. By the early 2000s, it was importing an estimated $15 to $25 billion worth of goods from China each year. This created a basic tension in the American economy. As consumers, Americans loved the flood of low-cost goods from Walmart, which helped keep inflation down. But as workers, they saw manufacturing jobs, the foundation of the middle class, disappear overseas. Ironically, as the documentary noted, new jobs did come to Circleville. Right next to the empty TV factory, Walmart built a brand new supercenter. But the new retail jobs paid a fraction of the wages and had none of the benefits or security of the manufacturing jobs they replaced.
For decades, Walmart was the great disruptor. But as the 21st century began, a new disruptor appeared, born not in a physical store, but on the internet. The rise of Amazon.com created a new battlefield. The rivalry between the brick-and-mortar king and the digital giant has become the defining business story of our time. For the first time, Walmart was on the defensive, forced to adapt or die.
The rivalry is a study in opposites. Amazon was born online, while Walmart's roots are in physical stores. Walmart's greatest weakness in this new war was its most valuable historical asset, its huge network of physical stores. So Walmart did something brilliant. It weaponized its stores. It turned them into the center of a new, hybrid omnichannel strategy.
Walmart pushed heavily into e-commerce, a move sped up by the 2016 purchase of Jet.com for $3.3 billion. Walmart aggressively expanded its online marketplace, inviting other sellers to its website, directly challenging Amazon's everything store idea. But the true genius was integrating the physical and the digital. The stores became more than just places to shop. They became mini fulfillment centers and pickup points. This clicks-and-mortar model allowed Walmart to offer services that a pure online retailer like Amazon struggled to copy. They perfected curbside grocery pickup, which became a huge driver of their e-commerce growth.
To solve the last-mile delivery problem, Walmart built its own delivery network called Spark. This system uses freelance drivers, like Uber, to pick up online orders from local Walmart stores and deliver them to customers' homes, often on the same day. This has given Walmart a powerful weapon in the delivery speed wars, directly challenging Amazon's Prime delivery. The final piece of the puzzle was the launch of Walmart Plus in 2020. It is a direct competitor to Amazon Prime, a membership program designed to create customer loyalty. The key benefits are built around Walmart's unique advantages: unlimited free delivery from stores, free shipping from Walmart.com, and discounts on fuel.
Today, the Walmart empire is in the middle of another big transformation. Under the leadership of CEO Doug McMillon, who started as an hourly associate unloading trucks, the company has a new vision. The vision is to be a people-led, tech-powered, omni-channel retailer. McMillon understands that while low prices are still key, today's customers also demand convenience and want to save time as much as they want to save money.
To secure its future, Walmart is investing billions in new technologies. Artificial intelligence is being used in every part of the business. AI algorithms predict product demand, optimize prices, and manage the supply chain. In its warehouses, AI-powered robots work alongside human associates to increase speed and efficiency. The company is also developing its own generative AI search functions for its website and app. This is designed to create a more conversational and interactive shopping experience.
Alongside this tech push, Walmart has started one of the most ambitious corporate sustainability programs in the world. In 2017, it launched Project Gigaton. The program aimed to reduce or avoid 1 billion metric tons of greenhouse gas emissions from its global value chain by 2030. The project focuses on emissions from its vast network of suppliers, which is the largest part of a retailer's carbon footprint. In a surprise announcement in February 2024, Walmart declared that, with the help of over 5,900 suppliers, it had reached its Gigaton goal 6 years early.
The story of Walmart is, in the end, the story of two Walmarts. They exist at the same time like two sides of the same coin. The first Walmart is the embodiment of the American dream. It's the story of Sam Walton, a man from a humble background who built the world's largest company through hard work and a revolutionary vision. This is the Walmart that pioneered new technologies and created a culture of partnership. This Walmart is a force for value that has saved American consumers billions of dollars.
The second Walmart is the story of disruption and dominance, of immense power and its unseen consequences. This is the Walmart whose arrival in a small town often meant the end of local, family-owned businesses. It is the company whose pressure for lower prices squeezed suppliers and helped move American manufacturing jobs overseas. This is the Walmart that has fought fiercely to stop its employees from unionizing and was challenged in the Supreme Court for discrimination. This Walmart is a force of economic gravity so powerful that it can bend markets and suppliers to its will.
To ask if Walmart is good or bad is the wrong question. It is both. It is a mirror held up to modern capitalism, showing its power to create value and its ability to cause painful disruption. The empire that Sam Walton built has done more than just change how we shop. It has changed the economic landscape of our towns and the very definition of what a company can be. The final question is not about Walmart's legacy, but about our own. In our constant search for a lower price, more convenience, and more selection, we, the customers, have been the real bosses all along. And the world we live in today is, in many ways, the world we have asked for. This is the ultimate Walmart effect.